Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please give a warm welcome to the hosts of the SWA Happy Hour, Dom and Chris.
And good evening, everybody. How we doing tonight? I'm Chris. You'll notice the elephant in the room, no Dom. And for those of you who are tracking, Dom is continuing to take a little hiatus because of his bad neck and shoulder. He is getting better, and he wanted everybody to know that. We wanted to give a big shout out to Dom as he recovers. He's getting an MRI tomorrow, which should clue the doctors in as exactly what the issue is, and so he can, get rehabbed and get feeling a little better. But he's doing the smart thing and not hunching over the computer and not playing music. He did unfortunately have to cancel out of Shinefest, which was damn disappointing. I was really looking forward to doing him. However, again, it was the only smart thing to do because he had played a little bit a couple days, and it just aggravated the hell out of his neck and his shoulder. He was in tremendous pain, and so he's got to be smart, and he's just got to stay on AAR for a little longer. So maybe next week Dom will be back. The following week, I'll let everyone know we may go ahead and take that week off, just depending. We're not sure how we're going to handle that just yet. It really depends on how he's feeling and what he's doing. But he just wanted to give everybody his love, and I've been texting with him right before the show, and he said, he went to work for a couple hours today, and he's doing okay, but your body compensates when something bothers you, and I know this, being an old athlete, if you pull a leg muscle or something, then you kind of walk a little dorky, and that can cause other issues. Your body will try and compensate, and he's experiencing a little bit of that. He's got other soreness in his back and his shoulders because he's trying to make sure that he doesn't tweak the part that's injured, and that's normal. That's what happens. But he is in fact getting better. I'll jump over to chat for a minute and say hi to everybody that I see real quick. I see Brad Example joined us early on. Good to see Brad Example. He's from Canada, Conspiracy Music said hi. Dom said hi a little earlier. Live to Fly channel has been here. Lord Spike Protein, always good to see him. Michael Songs. Chad Freeman is here. More Conspiracy. Who else? I saw somebody else in there. Oh, Axiom has joined us. Thank you, Axiom. Good to see you, man. And Colorful Energy. Man, I love Colorful Energy's music. It's so creative, and I'm a big fan. So good to see you here, CE. Yeah, Canadians, imagine that. They're everywhere. Hey, Tony Howie, good to see you. Welcome to the show tonight. We will have a special guest a little later, and we're going to talk about tonight promotion, self-promotion, things that you can do to market yourself, get a bigger audience for your music. I think this is something that all of us as independent musicians struggle with a little bit. Dom and I joke about it all the time. We're terrible about promoting ourselves. We stink at it. And it's not because we don't want to. It's just that, life. And so we're going to kick around some ideas tonight, which we hope will be helpful to all of our listeners and viewers because many of you are independent musicians as we are. And, it's always, if you do music, you want somebody to listen to it and get some eyeballs on it. So we're going to talk about that and hopefully help with that. And our guest is quite proficient at promotion and, has a different background than many of us. And I think you'll find it helpful. Like I said in the teaser, you know him, you love him, and the man knows his business. So he will be on in probably about 10 to 15 minutes. Other items, I think we should talk about Shinefest over at Camp G-May. It was a fabulous program. I was very honored to be asked to play on it, and I was towards the end of the evening. And I got to be honest with you, I got more nervous as the night went on because everybody, Papa Tom Caraher from SWA started off the show and just came out blazing. and everybody that followed was just fantastic, got better and better and better. Mike Bellino came on and just did a unbelievably rocking set, just fantastic. A couple new artists joined us, and they were all outstanding, and just it was a great evening, and I didn't suck, and I was happy about that. It was just big fun. Michael's songs here is with us, and Michael played a great set, just clean and pro, but Michael's a pro. Michael live streams all the time, and he just was smooth and magnificent. And Maria's got the Martin cam and then the Michael cam, and bounces back and forth, and very creative, and makes it very interesting to both watch and listen to. So that was just fantastic. And then Mamsie Graham, who, some of you know, he's been a little bit underground here of late, but a great musician, been around in our community for a long time, one of the ODs of the independent music community. Finished the show and just had a killer set. So it was just great top to bottom. It was just big fun. So that's what we were doing last week. Now, this will mark the end of my Chinese guitar saga. It has come to an end. I have a resolution, and I don't have a guitar. And I'm never going to get a guitar. They've refunded most of my money for this thing. They claimed it was delivered on Labor Day weekend, on Monday, which of course it wasn't here. I don't know what they did with it. I don't know that the guitar ever existed. I got nothing. But here, I'll read you the text because it's kind of fun. So let me call up my mail. So I said, let's go. I got to go back a couple messages. I said, when the second one, I said, great, I await the tracking ID, got that. So the first time it was 29 days. The second time it was 37 days. And I just said, hey, same bullshit. Your logistics company claims blah, blah, blah was delivered today, but once again, it was not. Also, it was supposed to be signed for, and if someone did, it sure as hell wasn't me. What kind of scam are you running here? 2 shipments, each taking over 37 days and 0 to show for it. So Chris was a little bit grumpy. And then they sent me the receipt of the tracking thing, which, of course, was bullshit. And I just noticed that the tracking number companies don't agree. So that's very interesting. Anyway, thank you for contacting us. We care about your experience. We are an honest and legitimate international online department store, although their store is closed right now. Shocker. That receives thousands of customers every day. We do not engage in frauds. Please trust us. Oh, okay. Well, they said please trust us, so obviously I'll just trust you. We are truly taking every customer seriously. Blah, blah, blah. And I just said, same bullshit as last time. It was never delivered, and I can't even get anyone to confirm that it was even sent to the correct address. The delivered message is why I contacted you. It never came here. I work out of this address. I'm here all day. Someone is lying to me, either your company or the delivery company. But you have my money, and I have no product twice. So, they said, Dear Chris Lane, we want to tell you to please rest assured we are a legitimate and a responsible company. The address we ship your order to is based on the address on your payment information, which is the same address. If your order cannot be delivered, it's because the address doesn't match. Well, that's bullshit. A world-renowned website. Oh, you know what? So they're a world-renowned website. Apparently, they're not a very good delivery company, but they're a good website. Sorry this has happened. Blah, blah, blah. Cannot find your package. It may be lost. Yeah, no kidding. So, thank you for your attention. We're really sorry the inconvenience. Blah, blah, blah. And they said, this has cost us a lot of money. Well, you know what? It wouldn't have had you actually delivered it. But it's dead. It's gone. It's buried. There will be no more entertaining tales of Chris's cheap Chinese guitar because it doesn't exist and it never got here. And so the moral of the story is true, and I knew it going in. And I'll reveal at this time, I paid in total $30. That includes the shipping. So I wasn't expecting anything. I got to be honest with you. But I thought for $30, what the hell? I'll take a chance, because it was a picture of a Gibson Firebird. Maybe a cheap knockoff Firebird, but anyway. But so I'm basically out the money that I paid for the shipping. You know what? So what? It was worth a try. I gave it a try. But if you see these things and they pop across your phone and it looks a little too good to be true, it's because it's too good to be true. So there you go. That's the end of that thing. And now we won't have that to talk about anymore. It was just, that was fodder for, well, again, almost 3 months going back and forth. Like Michael says, it was an entertaining saga. Like all sagas, there was no truth to it, but it was a good saga. Yeah, they didn't even send me a print of the photo. No, they sent me jack and shit, is what they sent me. So, what? And so, yeah, live to fly. I laughed. I thought you were at hundreds. No, I mean, in real life, my company does business with the Chinese, and there are firms that, are absolutely legitimate with our printers are in China. There's a lot of people that, do a great job over there. This impressed me right from the get-go as not being one of those, and they were not. So anyway, yeah, no, I didn't get burned on this one, folks. I probably lost less money on this than I would have had I gone to McDonald's and gotten a terrible lunch. So you don't have to feel bad for me. It was like gambling. I don't gamble, but if I did, it would be money I could afford to lose, and so I could afford to lose the $12 I paid for shipping. So anywho, and yes, never order shit off Facebook, YouTube, or shit that pops up on your phone. True story. They are occasionally legitimate, but often they are not. And sorting what's legitimate, what's not. There's a reason why Sweetwater and legitimate companies are around, because they're legitimate companies. Anyway, yeah, like Clay says, it was a social experiment. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just remembered I can pop up people's comments again. I don't do the show for a week and I forget how to do it. So anyway, hey, there's Viv Sproul. Did everybody see Viv's premiere yesterday? What a beautiful song, Viv. You and your friends there, that was just gorgeous. Viv has just the voice of an angel, and that's an old cliche, and man, it gets overused. But in her case, it's absolutely true. And her harmonization with her friend there, their voices go in and out of one another. It's just magnificent. Go to Viv's channel and check out her new song. It is really amazing if you haven't done so. Oh, you're welcome, dear. I really enjoyed it. All right, what else are we going to talk about? My guest is not quite here yet, so trying to think what else happened this week. Oh, the other thing that happened this week is I got my sister-in-law, who comes over and hangs out with us frequently. Her ex-husband was a musician, is a musician. And just, when they split up and everything, he ended up leaving some gear over there. And, Carol said, what do you want me to do with this crap? You want me to sell it? You want me to? And he said, I don't care. Just, sell it, give it away. I don't give a shit. So, had a Vox modeling amp. And, it's not the world's greatest amp, but it does have tubes in it. And again, it's a modeling amp, so it can emulate through some of the sounds, and then it runs it through the tube. And I've had it under my desk here for 2 months now, and I turned it on once and thought, okay, I got to take a minute and play with this. Well, now that my convention was done last week, and I plugged it in yesterday, and I cranked it up, and I thought, okay, this is a guitar sound I was looking for, because I wanted a heavy, grungy sound, Chad. Grungy sound. Take a hint. I'm working on something for you, but I really needed that grungy sound that you get from the Seattle guys. And I'm a huge Jerry Cantrell, Alice in Chains fan, so I was really looking for that guitar tone. And none of the amp emulators, even in Tone Bridge, just wouldn't quite get me there. There was a little bit of a harshness to it that I just didn't care for. So I plugged this in and I played with the settings, and man, I hit on a sound that I was loving. So I stuck my mic in front of it and I did a little recording earlier this afternoon just to kind of set levels and see what was happening. And Daddy like a lot. It had just that really saturated tube distortion that everybody loves, but it didn't have any brittleness that you get with some of the amp emulations or simulators. So I was very happy with that. And so the odds of me finishing the song before your show, Chad, are not great, but man, I am giving it my best because I really would. I'd like to give you something new and original for your show because I think that show's going to be fantastic. Big grunge fan. Let's see. Yeah, Tony says that was Viv. It was great. I agree. Hey, Dwight Bailey, what's going on, Hitman? How are you, bud? Good to see you. Thanks for coming tonight. Okay. Oh, thank you for mentioning that. Clay on Conspiracy Music and Chad Freeman will have their show tomorrow night. So look at this, guys. 4 field trips, which means that tells me I can't drink as much whiskey as I would like because I got to drive the bus, right? So I guess I'll have to, stay sober until we get done with Wayne Hackers, and then I can drink a little bit. But I'm one of the tour bus drivers to take people on these field trips. So we've got Andy Cal, we've got the Lily Pillies, that'll be great. Son of Snake, fantastic artist. He's been a guest on the show. And Wayne Hacker, who is probably a newer artist to some of you guys, but I like Wayne's stuff, and I think you will too. So check out Conspiracy and Chad's show tomorrow on Friday nights, and let's go on some road trips and let's listen to some great music. All right, and I saw one other comment that I wanted to. I don't remember where it is. I don't see it now. But if my guest is out there and listening, you can go ahead and log on, bud, and I'll get you up here in a minute. But the point of this is we're going to talk about promotion. And like I mentioned, we're, as indie musicians, we're not very good about promotion. Like, for instance, you guys have all heard of DistroKid, right? So $23 a year, and they'll take your music and they'll distribute it to all the platforms. They'll put it on Apple Music, they'll put it on Spotify, they'll put it on Pandora, they'll put it on all of these things. You have got to be stupid and lazy not to be on DistroKid if you're an independent artist. And I'm stupid and lazy. I have not done it, but I will be doing it this next month because I was on Jade's show earlier, and Jade reminded us, as she always does, that they're a sponsor to her show. If you use the code on Jade's channel, it's 7% off the $23. You can't beat that, right? If I'm not mistaken, they're also a sponsor of Pete John's show. So if you're on Pete John's show frequently, I think you can get the same deal. So if you want more people, more earballs on your music, DistroKid is a no-brainer. But I'm a no-brainer. So I need to get after that. And we'll talk about some more of those things as we go on. Hey, Ray, how you doing? But my guest is here, and I'm going to bring them up. This man needs little introduction. You're well familiar with him, but what you may not know is this guy is a promoting machine. He finds bands, he helps them, establish themselves, get some publicity. He absolutely excels at it, and I'll let him tell you about his own Facebook page because it's amazing. But let me bring out, we know him, we love him, we can't live without him, Chad Freeman.
Hey, thank you for that introduction. Thank you.
You are welcome. And you have the armadillo, so that's good.
Yes.
All right. Well, good. Let's exchange pleasantries. How was your day? How was your day, dear?
Well, today is my Friday as far as my work week goes. So yes, that's
Woo-hoo!
Always a plus. Yes. Yeah. So the week's over, and
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, we're going to talk about promotion. I've kind of set it up. Why don't you take a minute and tell everybody about starting with your Facebook page, because that people need to know about your Facebook page.
Okay. So the Facebook page is basically an idea I got earlier in the year before I started streaming. It actually led to the streaming. Basically, I became a fan of what Clay was doing on Friday night, and I started. I'm the kind of person that's always looking for new music, always looking for new movies. I'm kind of obsessed about finding what's next and what's new. And so I had met some cool people on Facebook that were artists, and then I had, basically brought their music to Clay, and he had played them on the show. One of those was Philip Steele. The other was Florencia Minetti. And I had actually met them in another promotion group on Facebook. And that was a promotion group where basically there were people in it, but it wasn't like it was a dead end. It was like people would post, nobody would comment, and then that artist wouldn't hear anything. There was no movement. So my idea was to kind of start something that at least I could kind of do a pipeline of, hey, people come here, they can share their stuff. If nothing else, I'll see it and I can share it. And then slowly that turned into me then saying, well, I can do a show based on the artist of the group. And then, of course, the YouTube people started coming over. And so there's been a lot of mingling with, what Clay was doing and all of the different shows and streams that are out there as far as the artists. So, yeah, no, it's just a good place to talk about music or to share music. If anybody's got anything new, and it doesn't have to be independent music. I often find new music that I like that's not, necessarily indie, and then just go ahead and share that out. And my camera is acting wacky. There we go.
Goodness, I thought it was my eyesight there. I've drank nothing but coffee today, so okay, thank you for that.
No, it's a little like that. I don't know what's up with it, and definitely need a new one.
Well, I will say one thing about your Facebook page. Here's one thing that I find that's fantastic about it is I get the notifications. So things that are happening in the community, like, people promoted this show on there tonight. People promote you guys' show tomorrow night. If they have an upcoming live stream or that kind of stuff, you get those notifications.
Right.
It's a great way to stay on top of what other artists in the community are doing.
Right.
And again, now let's turn this around for a guy like me, guy like anybody in the chat right there. If you have a new song coming out, if you're doing a premiere, those kind of things, start right there on Chad's Ham Facebook page and say, guys, got a premiere. It's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be at this time. Come and join me.
Right.
And because Facebook is great about spreading things virally. Anybody can pick it up, then anybody can share it on their thing. It gives you the opportunity to really promote yourself to a much broader audience if anybody shares it.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I actually put Shinefest on my own personal Facebook page, which I don't usually do. And I had people that are well outside of our community, some of my railroad friends who actually listen to the show. And I had lunch with one of them today, and he goes, oh, yeah, you know what? I watched Shinefest, and he said, man, you got some talented friends. That was a great show. Well, yeah, but, I mean, he wouldn't have seen it any other way. So.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, no, and that's the thing is that, Facebook is not quite the marketing tool that it was at one time. It used to be a lot better, and they made it harder, like on purpose with all the silly algorithms and all of that stuff. And but at the same time, it still does work pretty well, and it is something that a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like social media. I don't like Facebook or what have you. First of all, YouTube is social media. Secondly, secondly,
in case anyone's wondering,
secondly, I mean, it's just a tool, and you just got to learn how to use it, as opposed to having it suck you into whatever negativity or whatever, because there is a lot of that.
Of course, it's everywhere. And I think that's, a good caution for us as artists. We all have, triggers things that we don't love, and man, you can find it on Facebook, and you can find
yeah.
it on YouTube, and you can find it on Twitter, or well, I guess X now, or TikTok, or wherever you go. I mean, there's some element of stupidity, but you need to understand why you're there. And let's take a minute and talk about that, because I think for an artist, the first thing you should ask yourself is, what am I doing? What are my goals? Where do I want to go with this? And again, I'll just use myself as an example. Being the next Van Halen, that ship sailed a long, long time ago. In my 20s, I was willing to do unspeakable things to, be a successful rock star. Well, I'm not in my 20s anymore, and I'm not willing to do a whole lot of other than sit in front of my computer. And, that's my reality, and I understand that. But I would like people to see my videos, to listen to my music, and so that I have to do some work on my part. And I think so as an artist, you need to understand what is it and where do you want to go with this, and how much time do you want to put into it.
Right. Yeah. And then what I'll say, because you had mentioned that, I come from a different background, and I'll talk about that a little bit. One is that I started out in newspaper, and I was actually a photographer.
Okay. Yeah, my light just fell down. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't need it.
Well, it wasn't the cat. The cat.
No, the cat's locked out. So just it dove to its death off the table for some reason.
Now, a question for you: have you been doing any whistling at night? Because that can lead to being cursed. That is our topic on Sunday for Rockin' Rabbit Holes.
Okay, good to know. Maybe.
So, as I was saying, I started out actually as a photographer, and I got when I was in college, I worked at a newspaper and paid my way through college, and basically did a communications degree. And by the time I graduated college at that newspaper, I was writing, editing, doing anything and everything. And so then I went and got another newspaper job. And then after a little while, I was like, newspaper is dead, is dying. And so they offered buyouts, and I took a buyout. And then I went into PR. And so then I had some background with PR. And this was around the time of,
You got ghosts too. I think here we got Ghosts in the Machine tonight.
Yes. Well, I was watching Valerie, and she was whistling, and it is night, and I told her no whistling at night anymore.
There you go. It's Valerie's fault.
I don't know if it passes that way though. So anyway, around the time that I was doing PR was right as Facebook actually took off. I had been big into MySpace, and I had a website that I did myself that actually I was pretty successful with, and I used MySpace to market it. And then when Facebook took off, I basically became a social media guru for this PR firm. And then from there, I got involved with film, and then from that, a film festival. And so basically all of this, though, mishmashed together, long story short, is my background and kind of what I've been bringing over into this community. More of, marketing, PR, and also, producing from this point of view of putting things together, like such as a film festival or a film project and things like that. And so that's all that I do. I kind of see myself as a producer at heart, and then behind that is storyteller. And honestly, here's the thing with social media, here's the thing with marketing, and I think this applies to anything and everything. Storytelling is the key. It's always about, it comes back to storytelling. Because here's the thing, as an artist, you want to tell your story as an artist, and then with each song, you want to basically share that story of that song. So when you're thinking about getting your stuff out there for people to listen to it, You can't just be like, here's my song, listen to it. And other people are like, this is my song and I'm great, you're going to like it. No. Or here's my song, I suck, listen to it. No. You want to basically tell the story of why anybody would be interested, and it's something that it's kind of hard to explain, but once it clicks, you get it. um, I believe in, you market by not marketing, and honestly, that's kind of something that I've taken from the success of the Blair Witch Project, that I then used when I was doing my PR at the social media, at the PR firm. So basically, you want to kind of build around what you are selling, and you sell it without actually selling it. So you basically kind of create the story of everything, and again, it's the story of who you are, and the story of like your album, your song, or whatever it is, and you want to get people interested into that. It's more so about what they can get out of it, and what entertainment value is there, as opposed to, this is my song, listen to it. So
And I think that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot to unpack there, so
exactly.
let's dissect that a little bit, because I was going to subtitle this show, how to push yourself without being pushy. And we've run across the Billy Mays in your face kind of thing, which none of us have that kind of temperament particularly. That doesn't necessarily work. Our songs are a story, but I think, to your point, why the internet is lousy with songs. There's thousands, probably a lot more than that, new songs that come out every day. So what?
Right.
What distinguishes something I do, anybody else in the chat does, with all the other tens of thousands of things that came out that day? And I think having that compelling story, having a hook, I'll mention Michael's songs, who's here in the chat. When he comes on live, man, what a great hook this guy's got, because he's dressed in a three-piece suit, he's got his fedora, he's a distinguished looking guy. Right there you go, oh, that guy. He's very distinctive looking. Everybody loves to tease, me and my videos and the blowing hair and the fan. And it was pure happenstance. I'm not smart enough to come up with a hook, but it was a hook, and people do recognize that, and it became a little of a trademark. So now I kind of play off on it. So I think for artists, your starting place is, what's different about me? What's distinctive? What do I have to visually present in addition, as part of telling my story about who I am?
Right.
And I think people probably should spend a little time, thinking about that.
Right.
And let's get into this Oliver Anthony thing. I mean, this guy comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever heard of him, and all of a sudden he is blowing the place up.
Right.
So, because you're a Facebook guy and, a viral guy, tell us what your thoughts are on, how this guy became literally number one on the Billboard charts in a week's time, that from nobody had ever heard of him.
Well, I do know this, that basically it wasn't just he recorded something and put it out there. He did that, but then basically somebody saw it, and then they made a different video, and that's the one that really blew up. So it wasn't just you're going to record it, put it out there, and it's going to happen. There was a little bit of a help behind that, and it may have very well been, I don't know the full story behind it. It may have been somebody that had some sort of agenda that they're pushing. I don't really know, but it is a great song. It is a great performance, and because I remember the week of the video going viral, it was emailed to me, because I was basically doing a show that was kind of open, and I said, hey, if anybody has any requests, they can send them to me. And Deborah Clark sent it to me, and it had been only out like for 3 days, and I was like, man, this is amazing. And then I looked and I was like, and it's got 3 million views.
Right?
And so I was like, yep, I'm going to open the show with that song. And then from there, it's even exploded even more. And then, yes, was on the charts, which
Still on the charts.
Yeah, well, and that's the one thing, though, is that the charts is a little tricky, and that is something like a bit different, because evidently you can kind of buy your way to the charts. If you take like 15 grand and you go and basically purchase in a week on, say, like Apple, and you spend that 15 grand buying 99-cent singles of a certain song, you can jump it up the charts. So evidently it's that easy these days to do that, because when you're buying for music as opposed to the streaming, that affects it a lot more than just the regular streaming. And then also the other thing that plays in is TikTok, and 30-second clips of that song on TikTok and videos also plays into where it is on the charts.
No, I think that's interesting. I mean, from what I know about him, and again, I don't know very much about him other than anybody else, but the guy's, he doesn't have any money. He's like a tool salesman, or sells industrial equipment or something up until recently. So, but to your point, I think record companies have certainly engaged in those kind of shenanigans, because, I look at the chart mostly and it's like, never heard of him, never heard of him, never heard of him, never heard of him. And you listen to the music and went, somebody cares about this? I don't get it. I will give him absolute credit. I mean, it's a good song. And I've heard a couple of his other songs, and they're all good, old school, for lack of a better term, country, just kind of authentic, real, throwback to Johnny Cash, just kind of, that kind of not produced country that we're so used to anymore. And I think that's why it has some appeal.
Well, and that's exactly what I took from it. I was like, man, this is like Hank 3 or Hank, original Hank, or Hank 4 even. And I was like, and I like that sort of raw country, it's almost outlaw country, but not exactly. And yes, very raw and unpolished. So, a lot like Wayne Hacker's music, actually. I'm into that, and yeah, it is interesting that that has appealed to the masses as it did, though. But again, I think there's a little bit more than meets the eye, and I think that is.
I think that's true, because you don't go from zero to blowing up the place without something going on. But I think it was a very organic phenomena, and why I wanted to bring this up is it relates back to us. Here's a guy standing in his field with a mic and somebody videotaping him playing a guitar. We can all do that. Some of us have done that. But he placed it. It got on YouTube. It got on TikTok. It was on Apple Music and some of the various streaming services like that. And it gave people an opportunity to find it. They listened to it, and they liked it, and they told their friends, et cetera, and there you go. Right. Something all of us have the capability of doing. Not necessarily song-wise, but going through the steps and being on those platforms and giving people the opportunity to find our music. And that's what this whole program is about, is just availing yourself to opportunities to let people know that you have music and you're an interesting artist. Right. Or maybe you're not an interesting artist, but you still want to share your stuff. I don't know. I mean, that's, again, that's for other people to decide,
Right.
I find this guy an interesting artist, and I didn't know he existed 3 weeks ago.
Right. Wayne Hacker said he's very raw of himself.
Well, they have creams for that now, Wayne. So just get some of that at the drugstore, rub it on, and that'll take care of some of that rawness.
I love Wayne, and it was before I came on. You were talking about the field trips, and the field trip to his song is very experimental, and reminds me of the Doors in a lot of ways. It's definitely a great. Cool. It's different from his last track, so definitely I'm excited for that to get out there.
Well, that's fun, and being being on the shows, being in the chats, being, again, a little visible. I think probably most of us are subscribed to one another, which I think is great.
Right.
I love getting a notification from somebody I know in the chat or in the community that has a new song. That's exciting.
Right.
If I go to it.
Right.
Although, I got to confess, because some people schedule their premieres when normal people eat dinner, I didn't get Papa Tom's Hey Jude. I haven't seen it yet because I caught Viv Sparrow's song, and then I made dinner, and apparently Tom's came on during that, so I missed it. So sorry, Tom, and sorry, JDL. Just,
Well, it's great.
Pick a better
It's great.
time. Just saying, pick a better time. Well, I suck so bad because I promised him I'd do vocals on it and do the video, and I was doing my thing there, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll get to it this week, and then I get a note from him. It's like, yeah, it's gonna premiere, and this is like, well, I missed the boat on that one. Sorry, I suck. Maybe next time. Oh well, you can only do so much, right?
So I was going to tell you also a little bit more on like what I've kind of picked up on as far as social media, and I think it goes beyond that. And again, it's for anything and everything. Like as far as like how to use social media and how to, make it benefit you. Is that when you're, again, going back to the whole thing of don't just be like, hey, here's my music, it sucks, listen to it, or hey, here's my music, I'm the greatest, listen to it. What you want to do with all of your social media, like we were talking about, of the storytelling, and essentially what you're talking about is branding with you and your hair, and Michael with the way he dresses and all of that stuff. It's basically branding and coming up with what it is that kind of defines you in some aspect, and that's definitely a part of it. But I came up with basically the 4 E's is what I say you want to do. If you can hit these 4 E's, the better. But you want to at least hit as many of these E's as you can. The E's are educate. So with educate, basically, what is the new information that you can provide? Entertain is the second E, which, of course, is pretty easy, but it's just like...
That's what we do, right?
Empower is another one. That one's not necessarily going to be the same thing with every situation, but empower is always how can the information that you're sharing, how can that person that's reading or taking in that information, how can they use it, or how can they do what you're talking about that you did? So if you think about somebody like Jade Starr and her show, she's definitely huge with actually empowering her audience.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And then the fourth one is engage, and basically talking and actually communicating, and being in chat and saying hello to people, and communicating, and just trying to have people, with what you put out there, make it thought provoking, and have people, ask questions, and not only that, give them the opportunity to basically respond back to you, or get them involved with what you're doing. And if all of these, you kind of tie all of these together, and then you get the perfect storm. But you want to hit on it as many of those as you can, just on a basically consistent, as often and as much as you can. And it is one of those things where it's like, it's harder to understand than somebody just telling you it. It's more of like, it's one of those things where it just kind of all clicks, and then you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But it again ties back to the unmarketing. It's promoting it without promoting it, and marketing without marketing it.
Okay. Well, let's break that down a little bit. Let's just pick on let's say there's a new person in our community, and they share a song with you and Clay on a Friday night, and you guys look at it and go, okay, that's a cool song. They get some positive feedback, which our community is great at. I'll share, when I started off, I've always done this for me. This was fun for me, right? I think Ray Pierce mentioned that in the chat. If it's not fun, you shouldn't be doing it. Well, absolutely. That's why I got out of playing professionally, because there was a lot of bullshit going on in the early mid 80s, and I just got tired of it, and it was just time to not do that anymore. But anyway, so playing music, however, has always been fun for me. But the first time I actually shared something, I did a little video, and it was just, I did a screenshot of my garage band or something, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. And I sat there with my finger over the button for an hour. Am I going to put this out there? And, really wrestled with it, and finally said, what the hell? If it sucks, it sucks. And I hit go. And I don't even remember where I posted. It might have been a GarageBand users group for all I remember. But, didn't get a lot of feedback, but a little feedback, and it was positive. So, okay. Our community does a very good job, I think, of being encouraging to one another without just, oh, you're so wonderful, and I'm going to stick your painting right on the refrigerator because it's so, when it's obviously trash. We don't do that. We legitimately appreciate the other artists in the community, and I think give good positive feedback when warranted, and 98% of the time it is warranted. So that part's good. So let's say we've got this new artist, they get a little positive feedback from being on your show. What's their next first step in order to generate some subscribers or get a little better known in your view?
Yeah, I definitely think that there've been a lot of artists that basically I've met, and I have introduced them to the community either through Clay Show or through 15th Bin Show, and what they of course always have a million questions for me about how did I get my subscription level to where it is? What do they need to do? What are some of the hints? And basically what I try to tell them is that, hey, my Facebook group, I post when I know about it. I post about all the different events that are happening, all of the different streamers. I'm not always 100% going to hit every single show, but I try to do what I can. And then, of course, other people in the group, they're welcome to post any of the shows as well. And it's once you have the ball rolling, you keep pushing and you keep pushing. And as far as the community and the positivity of it, I think that, like you said, there's one example. There's one extreme, and then there's another extreme, and then I would say that we are kind of in the middle as far as a community, because supportive but not fake. I think it's genuine, and so I'm somebody who basically says, look, I have favorites, and I'm going to tell you, hey, look, this is my favorite song right now. And I'm not going to do that with every single song. Of course, I think as a whole, the community is that way. There are some people that are going to say, no, I don't like this. And again, that's the thing, is that not all music is for everybody. So that does not matter. I think we as a community try to basically tell people, hey, this is good, whether I like it or not, and I can appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done, and I think that's really a good and very positive point in regards to the community as a whole.
Well, yeah, I think there's a respect factor. There are songs that get played that I don't necessarily love the song or the style or whatever. It's not my cup of tea for whatever reason, but I have absolute respect for the artist and the work that they put into it, because I know what it takes, to record, to write, to do a video, to do all that. That's a hell of a lot of work. So just right from that basis alone, got nothing but mad respect for anybody that puts themselves out there, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
If it was easy, everybody'd do it. It just seems like everybody's doing it, but that's not the reality. Those who have more than 5, 6 songs, they've put a lot of work and effort into that. Right. So we got respect for that. And I think, to start out, like you said, everybody thinks, oh, I need to get a bunch of subs. Well, I'm a big believer that, you grow good subs organically. I think you can buy subs, you can do all kinds of phony baloney stuff to pump up your numbers, but what do those actually do you? Is anybody actually listen to it? Right. Again, I've got 350, I think, something like that, subs, but these are people that I've met in the chats or who have stumbled on my channel, and they've listened to some of the stuff and liked it enough to sub. So I'm happy with that. And I think, that's how you grow things. Now, at some point you do get critical mass. I remember, when Dom and I kind of started in SWA, I think he had maybe 200 and I had 25 or some, and, as he's played more, his has gone up exponentially. Mine has gone up, but it's still, low numbers compared to, somebody you would know. Maybe, but right. That's what you got to start somewhere, and I think it's a just legitimate effort on your part to be a part of the community. Go to all the things you can. You can't do all the shows. Right. Nobody can do that. We have lives and jobs and families and whatever. But hit as many as you can and be a part of that and start right there. Right. So. But let's say, this new artist that we're talking about, they put out a couple more songs. They're starting to get a little traction. What would be their next logical step to grow their brand, grow their reach, and expose themselves to new audiences?
Well, I mean, so they've got a couple of songs out, and see, it's a tough question, because there are.
Aha, that's why you're here. I'm going to ask tough questions.
So basically, there are artists specifically in this same situation that I guess this is a good tough question for me. So that so to let them know. One is that there's so many different factors. So have they done videos, or have they just done their songs on the YouTube channel? That's one thing, because if they haven't done a video, that should be the next step, is to do a video. So that was something with Son of Snake. When he joined the community, he had all this great content, he had all these great songs. He didn't have any videos. It was just his logo and the music. And he finally had sent me a song that he said he didn't know what to do with it. I was like, hey, you got to do a video for this song, because one, it's so different than your other stuff and it's really good. Do a video for this song. And then of course, once he did that and he saw the reaction, now he's hooked. So every song he's doing a video. And I do know some artists that have got a couple of songs and they haven't done any videos yet. And I think there's a little bit of a reluctancy for them to do that. I think that is an important step, though, to do a video, and then from there, do a video that you are in. That's the next step that Son of Snake is coming on right now. He's got a video that he just sent me today that he's actually in. And then it's just like building on to what you did before. You can't just do the same thing. You want to go to the next level. So if you've got a song, you've done that, do a video. If you've done a video, put yourself in the video. If you put yourself in the video, and you're at 50, subscribers by this point, then you want to stream. You want to have people actually, get to know you more as far as your personality. Appear on the block party, appear on Dom's show, Gmay or what have you, or stream on your own channel. So I think it just build off of what you've done before and just keep going. Especially if you've already started out and you know who you are, what your brand is, what your story is, and that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's just keep building and keep pushing forward. Don't get stuck on thinking about things like likes and subs and watches and things like that, and who's watching. That stuff is important, but you don't have to worry about that until you actually can see like a pattern of things. Which, give you an example of that, is that sometimes streamers, and I've heard this in the community several times, about it's hard to get the women demographic to watch streams, or to like artists will say, well, my numbers aren't bad, but it's 60% guys watching or whatever, and it's not an equal thing. It's you have to just do things to see what works and what doesn't work, and maybe there's something you need to pull back on, or maybe there's something that you need to push forward on. It's always about, though, not just doing the same thing. Do the same thing consistently, but add to it. So that's the key.
Well, and I think your stepping stone thing is that you've just charted out exactly how I've gone. I had a SoundCloud account, which, that's all my music was there. And then I made my first video. Wasn't in it, didn't have a camera really, or didn't have the capability of doing a decent video. So I did a video that I didn't appear in. And then I did a video that I appeared in and used some kind of half-assed software to knock out the background. It was, it was a little funny. And incremental steps. Well, now I've got a full video production suite and, love doing it. And then I started live streaming and, playing on the shows and appearing on panels and, going forward. And it was just a natural evolution. None of that was to build an audience. It was to just, share what I was doing. And I think it's very important, at least in my view, to just be organic with that. Subs and likes and all of that crap will come if you're consistently working hard and doing a good job to the best of your personal ability and talent level. Now, I'll say, by doing this, I'm a hell of a lot better than when I started. I mean, I was a pretty decent musician. I played every week when I was in church and everything, but there's no comparison to what I can play now versus what I could play a year ago, because I kept working on stuff and pushing myself, and I know that's true of most of the folks that I'm seeing over here in the chat. I know where you were a year ago or 2 years ago, and where you are now. There's like no comparison, because we've all listened to one another, and copied is not the right word. Stolen's not even the right word. It's just we've influenced one another as musicians do, and said, ooh, that guy's got a cool video, or man, what a cool guitar sound, or whatever. I'm going to see if I can do something better and different than I did previously.
Right.
And I think that's the way to go on that.
And that's the part of the great thing about a positive, community and being surrounded by talent, is that as everybody gets better, like, it does influence everybody. And I mean, and it makes everybody want to get better. It's like it's a natural influence, and it is very, very true. And I mean, I don't play music at all, but I would say I am also influenced in that way, though, even just as what I do as far as promoting and also streaming. And I have taken some steps totally outside of my usual comfort zone by performing karaoke, by actually writing a song that me and Son of Snake have been working on together, that we've got this whole collab thing going on. And again, it's just about being a part of the community, and I guess fully embracing it and letting it influence me as much as I am influencing it. So.
Yeah, very true. Kinger's comment was good. Most of us don't love the video production. I hate the filming part. Now, I love the creativeness behind it, and I love getting a visual in my mind and doing that, but I hate the physical work of getting the green screen set up and dancing around like an idiot in front of the green screen. That's not my favorite part of the process. I like the
Right.
result, but yeah, you know, not my favorite part of the process. But I think if we've learned nothing from MTV since it started all those years ago, video is huge and it's important.
Hmm.
We just need to do it just to give. And again, this goes back to that visual, that branding aspect, if you will. Hey, there's 12 notes in the Western scale. We're playing the same 12 notes.
Hmm.
So, what can we do that distinguishes my song from Dom's song, from Michael's song, from anybody else?
Right.
And the video can put an emotional attachment on the song that maybe didn't
Right.
exist there before. Um,
Right. For
so I
sure.
think it's worth doing. Again, it's a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Everything
Yeah.
worth doing is tends to be hard work. That's just how it is. And even though we do this for fun, there's an element of work involved.
Right. Yeah.
So, what is your thinking as far as okay, we've done videos and everything. We're getting known and we're starting to develop a decent sub base and everything. We've talked about attempting to grow as an artist, trying different things, getting out there. What else can we do promotion wise? Should we look at different platforms? Let's say TikTok or and I'll throw this one out here. I don't know how many of you guys are on Rumble. I'm not on Rumble very often. It's like YouTube. Um, but I'll say this: there's almost no music on Rumble. It is an open canvas. If any of us could figure out how to go over there and pioneer on there, because there's very little music content on Rumble, whereas YouTube is loaded with it. And as far as a user base, apparently it's a pretty big outfit. Again, this is just I'm going by some things I've read, and
Right.
like I said, I don't spend a lot of time there, but there's some good how-to videos. That's why I know about Rumble. And anyway, but
I I think you're definitely correct, and Rumble I think is an avenue that people should look into. From what I understand, Bolton Air actually does his live stream to Rumble and has a pretty good
okay.
turnout as far as he actually gets more viewers on Rumble than he does on his YouTube.
Now that's
So,
interesting. So
and there are people that do like Twitch and YouTube, and they get more viewers on Twitch than they do on YouTube. So again, I think it's where do you put the most work into, and also is your audience um, more on Rumble, or is your audience on Twitch, or is your audience on YouTube? You don't know yet.
yeah,
So you definitely want to branch out and try those things. Like, I mean, me as for what I do, I have never gotten on Rumble, but I mean, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Discord, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter. Uh, you know, for the most part, if it's out there and there can be music or there can be movies, I'm there, and so I'm honestly have heard a lot of positive from people talking about Rumble. Evidently, the problem that I see, or at least the negativity that I've heard, is that the chat functions are not very good. So again, if you want the interaction, I think YouTube is or Twitch are probably the best bets. But again, that's just from what I've heard from some of the, I guess, auditing community that also use Rumble. But yeah, you're probably right. There's probably like very little music on there, and
yeah, none that I can find.
Kick is one that there's limited music on there, and I know that the what was her name? Glow Stick Willie, Glow Stick. They evidently had some success with being on Kick. So I mean, there's definitely lots of different things to explore, and people should see what is out there, not basically put everything into YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Because I mean, I thought MySpace was the greatest thing in the world. I mean,
It was until it wasn't.
I absolutely loved it, and it helped me greatly to when I was doing a website to basically get my website out there, and my networking with filmmakers at the time also. And then all of a sudden it was gone, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I mean, you don't know. Is it going to happen with YouTube? It could. Is it going to happen with Twitch? I don't know. So you don't want to put everything into one place ever. I mean, even I would say, even like Spotify, I absolutely love Spotify. I'm big Spotify supporter.
Hate it.
But who knows if it's even going to be around,
Yeah.
in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I think that's a good point right there. I think if you're really wedded hard to any platform, you're asking to find yourself out of luck someday, because these things are constantly changing, evolving faster over time. We can spend a minute and talk about Discord, and my question is, what the fuck? I mean, maybe it's because I'm older. I mean, I'm a tech savvy guy. I started out punching cards physically and running them through an IBM 360 machine, so I've been around. Discord just looks like the traffic in Shanghai. I can't make heads or tails of it.
I'm with you 100%. It looks like when the internet first started. It looked like when I was in junior high, me and my brother ran a bulletin board system out of our Commodore 125, our 128, and our telephone line.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like to me. I don't get it, but I just use it as a messenger, essentially. So there are people that I talk to on there. There are people I talk to on Instagram. And so that's, for me, I go wherever the people are and whoever I want to connect with. So again, it's kind of that same thing of going back to where is your audience? Try to figure out who is your audience and kind of cater toward that audience.
Okay, well, here's something. Here's Maria laying some facts on us.
Nice.
So 76%, 22. So that's about a year ago, roughly. Slightly male. Probably YouTube's the same. Look at that. It's a younger demographic, maybe. I don't know what YouTube's is. That's interesting.
YouTube, young people hate YouTube for the most part. It's mostly old people.
Well, same with crazy. Facebook. There's no kids on Facebook. It's all us old timers.
Yeah.
But that's a point. Well, that's interesting, Maria. Thanks for sharing that. So I had no idea. As far as Discord, as far as messaging, again, I would love to use it for that function. I'm just too dumb to figure it out. I don't get it. I've been trying for 6 months now.
It took me a while to actually get to where I can even use it, because I was just like, I went over to Discord and I was like, nope, I uninstalled it. And then, somebody's like, are you on Discord? And I'm like, well, I am, but it's not on my phone. But now, I even sign on to it on my computer. So it's just one of those things that you can kind of get used to it.
Hey, that's my kind of people. Right on, Mixed Club. Yeah, and I don't get the interface. The navigation makes no sense to me, and I have trouble finding people. Maybe it'll get better over time. Hey, Facebook isn't what Facebook was 10 years ago. It's not. And well, younger than the 50s and 60-year-olds.
Right.
Well, you are a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Princess LG, which is why we love you.
There are some, but yeah, it's
God, I'd like to think so.
Minority.
Bless you for saying that. Anyway, I'm old cool people. Yeah, I wish. Anyway, but Twitch, like you mentioned. Now, I haven't spent any time on Twitch. I've been there watching people, but it's not something I've personally engaged in yet. But again, that seems like, as far as live streaming and everything, a pretty strong platform. I know Nikki Tedesco is a huge Twitcher and has been for a long time, and I know a lot of the pro bands spend time on Twitch. And I don't know if it's because it's a little bit older platform or they feel like they can reach their audience there. That's a little unclear to me, but that's certainly something to consider.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some big like supporters of Twitch, and I see a lot of people though that are on Twitch and have a pretty decent following, and then they come over to YouTube at the same time. And again, I think that's a good thing because they're thinking ahead and they're not trying to put everything into one platform. And same thing with TikTok. I'm seeing that where there are artists that have pretty big followings on TikTok, and then they're coming over to YouTube and trying to build it up. And again, that's definitely what people should be looking into is, branching out and not trying to just be stuck in one way. Again, it's do what you do and be consistent, but then, step up and move forward, as opposed to flatlined.
Now I got to question Maria's stat on this. 65% Twitch users are male. That's interesting. Oh, Twitch. You know what? My brain was locked on TikTok for half a second there, so I was going, it's nothing but influencers on TikTok, but Twitch, okay. All right, so there you go. Maria's good, bringing the data tonight. I love data.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So here's what Tom has to say. Hard to make money. Yeah. Well, and you know what? If making money is your motivator for being on any of these platforms, yeah, you need to take a look at that. For many of us, for me personally, could give a shit,
Right. Yeah. What is, that's one of the things though that is important is like, first off, what is the motivation? Are you trying to make money? Or are you, just trying to be creative? Or are you trying to, share? I mean, what is it that you're trying to do? Definitely, that is something that needs to, people need to look into and think about and kind of have a game plan. And it doesn't have to necessarily be written down game plan, but one that's there. So,
hey, now this is good. Dom's laying some factoids on us.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that in the back of my mind. I don't know. We should think about that at some point. Just do that.
I believe you can stream to Twitch and Facebook and Rumble and
I know we can do Facebook
anything
too.
and everything.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You just probably have to set it up. And I had a thought and I lost it. So let's see what Rhett has to say. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, Rhett is, he's taking care of his mom. He's working out of his studio. He's got a great program. It's fascinating to watch him mix stuff and talk about that. Big fun. But again, you got to know. Oh, what I was going to go with as far as making money, I'll tell you the killer, Bandcamp. I've made more money on Bandcamp than I've done all the other stuff put together. And let's just say I made enough money on Bandcamp to buy that Chinese guitar that I didn't end up getting. So that's how much money I've made on Bandcamp, just so you know. Big bucks.
I've contributed to that guitar then. I'm going to go after them.
Yeah, I took my profits and got screwed on the Chinese guitar. Anyway.
So here's the thing with Bandcamp is that you definitely, with Bandcamp Friday, people that's something that I'm sort of surprised in coming over to this indie music community that people aren't talking about that. People aren't promoting that. And I'm trying to push that. I mean, each Bandcamp Friday, people should be pushing that because, I think it's actually 93% of the money goes to the artist. So in other words, if, somebody buys your CD, which even if it's or buys your song or whatever, and the
Right.
cost is $2, then most of that's going to the artist. And I think it's important that everybody, if you're on there, if you're not on there, get on there, and two, if you're on there, then definitely make sure and push Bandcamp Friday on Facebook and any of the social media you're on, and also whenever it's Bandcamp Friday, I'm going to bring it up and say, drop your link. And guess what I do? I go over to those links and I buy crap. So
Yeah, absolutely. And we should do that. And I left this up, and Dom is dead on the money. We actually talked about this right at the beginning of the program, but I think as artists, we do need to ask ourselves this question. I don't think many of us do, is why are we doing this? It's fun, and again, for my personal answer is it's fun. I like to do it. And since I've put the effort in to make music and everything, I want to share with people. And if they enjoy it, that is fantastic. If they don't care for it, well, that's fine too. They move on and they'll find somebody they do like. And I'm cool with that. But I think it's an important question to ask. Why are we even doing this? I think I'm a little behind in the chat because there's a couple good things that have come up. Yeah, I think Maria. We think of that all the time. We do it. There we go. And if money comes of it, yeah, again. Now, I know Dom posted one thing. He said, now, did I make enough on Bandcamp to buy the guitar and the insurance and the shipping? No, I made enough to buy the guitar. The shipping and the insurance came out of my own pocket. Just so, because I'm not a big... Yeah, I'm not tearing it up on Bandcamp that good. I mean, let's be realistic here. Anyway. Okay, that's what I was told there would be no math tonight on this channel. So
No.
Anyway,
they still take like 3%. I think it is.
Yeah.
No, it's 7%. Maria on Bandcamp Friday.
Yeah. And I mean, it's capitalism 101. If you have a middleman, somebody who's distributed, they get a cut. That's just how it works. And I got no problem with that. If I do covers occasionally. Not my primary thing, but I just do them because they're fun and I like the song. Well, if I were monetized, or if there's ads that get sold doing that thing, well, that goes to the original artist. Again, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's who it should go. Right. They wrote the song and everything. I just did a crappy cover of it.
Right.
Dom clearly is feeling a little bit better because he's in the chat and he's cracking off some beauties.
He's definitely feeling. It seems like it's Dom being Dom for sure.
Yeah, so. Thank goodness. Poor guy. I feel bad for him because being in pain and injured like that sucks. It just does. But yeah, I mean, to Rhett's point, yeah, his agent used to take a hell of a bigger cut than what these internet guys are doing. So there's that. And again,
one thing I wanted to mention, a really cool book that I had read back, I think it was probably around 2009, 2010. It's David Merman Scott. He wrote it. He was a big he's a big Grateful Dead fan, and so he wrote this book about how basically businesses can learn how to market themselves based on what the Grateful Dead did. And it's really cool because yes, what they did to market themselves as a band was very much what I was talking about, of basically marketing yourself without marketing yourself. They basically allowed bootlegs and lots and lots of things that are completely off the wall to create this brand that became such a huge thing that tons and tons of people travel all over the place to follow them. So I mean, really cool book though. I'll have to look that up though. I've got an autographed copy because I actually met David Merman Scott, and he's a really cool guy. Let me see. definitely a good book, though. I mean, for anybody that's interested in like social media and trying to market anything and everything, here it is. It's Marketing Lessons from the Grateful Dead, what every business can learn from the most iconic band in history. Yeah, August 2nd, 2010. And you can get it on Amazon.
Okay. Well, and I think the Dead was ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. I think they figured out early on that the kind of band they were, their record sales were never going to generate the kind of income that some of the other bands of that era were doing, and they early got on the merch. The T-shirts and again the cult following, and there was merch vendors that literally followed them around and sold T-shirts and all of that kind of stuff. They follow the drugs.
Well, and that's a very good point. I think a lot of the indie artists of our community sleep on the merch, and not only merch, but the whole brand idea of mascots or logos and things of that nature. There are a lot of people, or at least I'm of that minority, that love merch and love physical media. So don't sleep on actual like making CDs. And I mean, 15 Pin's a good example here recently of him putting his CD out there for the longest time. He's like, oh, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Here he is. He's put it out there, and now he's already sold. I believe it's almost 130 copies right now in just a month or whatever. So T-shirts and CDs and getting things that people can actually purchase, and as far as like shirts and such, mascots and such. Again, with you and your hair, that's kind of like your trademark, and get everybody to think back about.
I should sell wigs. Is that what you're saying?
You could. You definitely could. You definitely could get somebody though to come up with some sort of logo that's just like the hair flowing, and then maybe somehow a cut off sleeves shirt or something. There's definitely something there that would definitely sell and be cool, and everybody should kind of think that way.
Yeah, no, I think they put here. I'm wearing a Fuzz Lord Effects T-shirt. Okay,
right.
That I won on the Hippie Show. And, Fuzz Lord promoted himself this way. So merch is certainly an option for promoting yourself. Lori's Mishmash has done all kinds of stuff. She's got great merch. Clay now has the, something like that shirt, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. There are things out there you can do. And I know this was done in AI. I got to find it because it's fantastic. But here, look at Dom's logo anymore. The Dom Father. I mean, that logo kicks ass. It's fantastic. The Brando kind of look-alike with it. Here, he's got his cup. See, these kind of things are, they're legit things to do. Again, to keep you in the forefront. And there are outfits that will do it basically. And of course, I'm going to draw a blank, but I used them for years. Doggone it, but they're an outfit. Basically, you upload your design and you can put it in the store, and if somebody buys it, they'll print it and send it to them. And they're a huge outfit, mail order thing. Their prices aren't that good, but, there are outfits that do that for you.
Right.
If you want to go that way.
For sure. Yeah.
So, anywho, Mr. Smith, I wanted to say hi to you. Welcome. Thanks for being on the show tonight. Yeah. See? Custom blended incense. Okay, well, there you go. Dude, incense.
Yeah, and stickers and things like that, buttons. Of course, Valerie bought. She's great about the merch. With T-shirts and buttons, and she hasn't got to the CDs yet, but I'll push her toward that soon enough.
Okay, now, not all merch makes sense, okay? So they had bags, thongs, okay? I don't want to see anybody in this community wearing a thong. I just don't, I'm just gonna say, we're a little old, we're a little heavy for that. Just so not everything makes sense. Choose your merch carefully. I was gonna go there, right? See, I made Chad giggle. There we go.
It's not that hard though. I'll give you an example. I mean, I've got just sitting here around me. I've got this CD here from Wabash Cannons. They're an indie punk band. I've got this CD here. This is the Pup Pups. This is David Rosen's project. I've got, of course, Scarlet Star, and this was an autograph. You know, it's fun, and and I'm not the only one that is into that stuff, but definitely people shouldn't be sleeping on that. I've got a weird Paul mug, which I won that on Twitch. I didn't pay for that.
I'm not sure what to make of that one. Weird Paul.
So, and I've done merch in the past when I was doing a film festival, and I'm finally catching on to where I feel like that I'm to the point where I should start doing that type of stuff. I had armadillos, characters that I created and then had artists draw up. And the armadillo is seeping into what I'm doing now. And that's why I'm starting to show off some of my armadillo collection on the shows. But I mean, that's part of my brand and part of my my story. I always had, which you're somebody that's always noticed that I'm always changing up what is sitting next to me. It's some sort of collectible, it's some sort of merch, it's some sort of something. That's just something that I do that to me is fun. And it's almost like a nod to like the Simpsons in a way, because it's like it's always changing. It's not going to be the same whenever you look. So those little things though, that's all just for me it's automatic, and I'm not even thinking that I'm doing this because of this. But then when I stop and I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I've been doing that. And that's because of the the marketing of it.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I was gonna say, get your glasses checked there. It doesn't say what you think it says there. Yeah. I'm not self-promoting that way. Yeah. Anywho.
Yeah, and Valerie sells bootleg Blue Unicorn shirts, and Clay sells bootleg ham glasses. So
yeah,
shot glasses.
Bootleg. There you go. Let's bootleg one another. Hey, Dom, thanks for coming tonight. Again, brother, keep taking care of yourself. Get feeling better. We miss you, and we can't wait for you to get feeling to be in your own Dom self and back here on the show discussing stupid things with me. Miss you, bro.
Definitely, Dom.
Everybody. Good thoughts for Dom. Yeah, but it is, hopefully they'll have some information after the MRI tomorrow and can get a treatment plan and get him feeling better.
Right.
So, one other thing maybe to talk about. We've talked about videos, we've talked about various places to put your stuff. Now we've hit upon merch, which I wanted to segue into. What about other venues to let me rephrase and regather my thoughts. Many of us have collaborated with other artists in the community, and it's a one-off thing, or we do it for fun and everything. But what I think it has some possible synergy for artists that it makes sense for is to partner up with some other like-minded artists in the community, or in the case Kinger was here earlier and Colorful Energy was here earlier. Okay, those are two disparate musical styles, but they've come together on a couple occasions and worked together, and the result was fantastic. It was very cool. And of course, Mr. Smith has worked with any number of people in the community. So I would say if you're partnering up with a Mr. Smith or Dom or Kinger's Music or whoever, name somebody, you have the potential to expose yourself to a different audience, and maybe for both of the two artists to broaden their appeal.
Right.
You know, these kind of collaborations are, you know, I've collaborated with Lady Rode a Line Straight, and that was just an off the wall, out of the blue collaboration, but it kind of melded our two bases together a little bit, and now there's some crossover between the two of us, and there's a plenty of other examples. JDL, of course, has collaborated with everybody, as has Hugh Caldwell,
Right.
but we know who they are because they have collaborated with so many other audience and really broadened their appeal by going into musical different styles and different things. So that's something I want to suggest to people. There's a lot of cool artists out here, and most of us like working with other people. So there's an opportunity there for folks. There
Yeah.
you go. See, Mr. Smith, he's going to do Mr. Smith, you dirty, dirty whore. And I mean that in the best possible way. You're a delight, sir, and I hope you do get to collaborate with everybody because, man, you bring a lot to the table, my friend. But to my point and Mr. Smith's point as well, you know, it's a great thing for people to do if the collaboration makes sense. Don't force it, obviously.
Well, and I'll go more with that, and I say that goes back to what I was talking about of do what you do and then add to it, and then also push yourself outside of your comfort zones and experiment and try new things. I'm somebody who is always hearing, like, I can hear this and then hear this, and I can be like, well, that'll go together. I'm always like putting things together that way, because that's how my mind works. So, not to keep coming back to Son of Snake, but Son of Snake, he's become a really good friend of mine, and he is such a great guy to I think work with, and he is so quick and he's so good at what he does. Valerie had that song Ready, Steady, Go, and I was like, hey, that reminds me of a punk song, and then it just hit me, these two should work together and do this, and of course that happened. And then there was this new artist that plays drums. Her name's Alice, and she is new to the community. She's mostly has on her channel just her doing playthroughs with like mainstream songs and such like that. And I'm like, I really want to help push her out there into the community. The best way to hook her up with somebody and do a collab. Well, her and Son of Snake have done a collab now, and she is fantastic on that track. Again, I think that I naturally just see these things, and I think artists need to see this way with themselves. I bring to pole vault and tell him he should do this, he should do this. I do it with Lady Campion. I do it with all kinds of artists all the time. Of course, the Field Trip song is kind of something that kind of happened in that way. And then from that, we've got now 4 different versions of that song, with Midnight Bandits version being the most recent that we're going to play tomorrow night. But yeah, I think all artists should be thinking in those terms. And then at the same time, I do that with these themed shows as well. And I try to push people to do things that they may not necessarily think about doing. And then we get a pole vault Michael Jackson song, and we get a pole vault Nirvana song, and we get a Son of Snake Britney Spears song. We get all these fantastic things. And I think that all artists should be just kind of thinking about all of those different things and pushing themselves and experimenting and doing that.
I completely agree. I think that's, you know, a good thing to, again, just think about. One of my favorite was getting with Lori's Mishmash and doing the Ozzy cover. Was way out of her comfort zone. And I don't think anybody thought that, you know, I would sing Ozzy. But man, you know, as far as the number of views on that video, it was really high and it was fun to do. But it was definitely different for the both of us. And so it was fun.
Right.
And, hey, Charlie,
I'll get that link for Alice, and you can drop it because I don't think I got a wrench here.
Yeah.
I'll just drop it in private chat, and you can...
I don't know why you're not wrenched on our channels, but You should be. Again.
Because I don't go around saying, I need a wrench.
Okay.
I just
well,
it.
and plus, Dom and I don't know what we're doing half the time. And so let me get to your question a moment ago, Pole Vault. What's going on here? We have no idea. It's the usual Dom and Chris show. But this time it's Dom and Chad. We still don't know what we're doing. We're just doing it. But we are talking about promotion, and I think we've plowed some pretty good ground on this. You know, at the end of the day, if you're an artist and you're working out there, you've put work into your music, expose yourself in not that kind of way, but expose your creativity to as many people as you have the ability to do, because people are going to like it and they'll respond. And at the end of the day, you know, we like good feedback. It as artists, we do it for ourselves, but it helps us grow. It helps us want to continue when we get feedback and positive feedback. So,
and I was going to say this also, if there are any artists that are listening to this and they're like, hey, why doesn't Chad ever make me collab with somebody? Why doesn't Chad ever tell me do a Michael Jackson song? Message me. Let me know that you're open to that stuff, because I am always doing all sorts of things. And
yes.
I, you know, whatever's on my radar, again, I mean, and easy to work with. Those people are always going to be right at the top of my list as far as, you know, I've got this, and it needs this to go with it. Let me contact, you know, Pole Vault. You know, I reached out to Chris on, of course, Chris didn't want to do a Michael Jackson song, but
well, it's not that I didn't want to, but again, you know, you got to know yourself.
Well, yeah.
I went back, just so you know, because obviously I have a higher voice. Early Michael Jackson is in my range, and I experimented with Ben and a couple of other songs, and I thought, you know what, I can physically do this, but it's going to seem like a parody because I don't believe in it, and I didn't want to disrespect your show, bluntly.
Gotcha.
And so I did a couple test ones, and I went, you know what, I'm not going to send any of this to Chad because I didn't believe it, and so I knew nobody else would.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know yourself as an artist. And, you know, other shows, hey, the Nirvana show, as you know, I was all over it because I dig those guys. The grunge show, all over it. But, you know, you got to pick your spots. Britney, other than Oops, I Did It Again, I can't tell you a Britney song. So obviously that I have nothing going to happen there.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Son of Snake has done Give Me More, and it is so great. And his wife does backup vocals on it. Oh, it is so fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to hear
that's going to be cool. And again, you know, if there's a song that, you know, you have and you can make it your own, I'm a huge fan of that. I mean, as artists, we should absolutely do that. Right. But, you know, certain things, Michael Jackson, so iconic. And, I mean, I did think seriously about going down, you know, making a cover of the Weird Al cover of one of Michael Jackson's songs
right.
and doing Eat It with the whole video and everything. And I said, yeah, no, my ambition outweighs my time to do this. So I think we'll just have to tip our hat to Chad and say, good luck with that show, bro.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that at least you tried and you gave it a shot. And that's the other thing, as far as like trying new things, trying to add on, seeing what you can do. You know, I mean, that is a learning process in itself of you've now, you know, tried it and you know, nope, Michael Jackson song's not for me.
Not for me. Well, part of it was, you know, I started doing Ben, and then I remembered what a sappy, sucky song that is. Like, I just couldn't. I'm like, oh man, I can't do it.
I love that song. I love that song.
I know, and
now
millions of people do. But
and now I don't know if y'all have heard the Robbie Stingle song that he did about me, the Armadillo Whisperer. I now basically have my own Ben anthem.
So. Okay, well there you go. Yeah, I'm just what hasn't Robbie done a song about? I'll wait. God bless him. Let's see. Oh, all right, that's a good
So,
thought.
we haven't brought that up. Well, you brought it up a couple times. I do have a grunge show. It's a week from Saturday. So if there is anybody that has a cover of any classic grunge or pre-grunge or post-grunge or has anything that it just sounds
Maybe you
that's
have a
been
grungy
influenced by grunge.
original.
Yeah,
If you've got
exactly.
a grungy original, you absolutely should send it to
Yeah.
Chad for that show.
Yeah. So, and I do have a lot of artists that I am going to play that are of that vein. Like, for example, Millennial Animal. He's one of the big ones. Transylvania Stud. And then there's a bunch of others, that are more outside of the community. But no, it's going to be a great show. And also, when I do those theme shows, I think it is a good chance for people to try something that it gives them a reason to try.
Yeah, I think this whole show, the predication was get out of your comfort zone, get out of your box. Most of us are uncomfortable self-promoting. I prefaced the start of the show saying I suck at it because I suck at it, but that doesn't mean that I have to stay sucking at it. I sucked at a lot of things in my life, and then I got better. And I view promotion and is just the same thing. Work at it until you get better. And I think that's kind of the charge that I'm inviting the chat and everyone listening to the show and on the replay. If you're an independent artist, look at who am I, what do I want to be, and then how can I get, expand my reach? How can I reach more people? How can I share my art with more folks? And Chad has given a whole lot of great ideas on that. Hopefully, we've had a good overall discussion and gave people some action items that can kind of get them started along that path.
Yeah, and there are some artists out there that don't even have YouTube channels, and I have to basically tell them. I meet them on Facebook, and I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
get a YouTube channel. That's number one. Upload your song with a photo, and then build from there." Yeah, I mean, and if you're on YouTube, you should also be on Facebook and Instagram, and you should be on Spotify. Clay's somebody who he's going to be working on that aspect, but he's a great artist, a great performer. He's got all kinds of stuff on his channel, and he plays every Friday. But and he plays all over the YouTube, anywhere and everywhere. But he doesn't have anything out there on Bandcamp or Spotify and SoundCloud and all these various places. There's so many opportunities to put yourself out there. People should just do it, basically. Start somewhere and build.
Yeah. I really should, now that you mention it, I really should. I've got half a dozen Facebook pages for various things. I really need a Chris Lane Senior Music Facebook page, which I don't have. Why? Let's review Stupid and Lazy. So I can't be stupid anymore. I can't stay ignorant. You shared it with me, and now I just got to stop being lazy. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, there is that, Yeah, I've got ridiculous amount of friends on my Facebook, but, they're all...
David, are you in my Facebook group? Because
you should be.
Because you should definitely post them in there. I mean, definitely.
Let's go ahead and talk about Maria's question. I think this is a good one. What platforms do people like best for distribution and why? We mentioned DistroKid at the top of the program, which I think is really a good... There's three. There's DistroKid, and I'm drawing a blank.
Don't even bring up CD Baby because they're absolutely...
Yeah, they're trash. There was another one that's decent, and I'm blanking the name.
There are a bunch of them. I don't know if they're specifically more of. I know TuneCore is one, and I don't know if they are simply music like management or distribution, but I do know that they're somehow they show up a lot on videos as far as the licensing. And then
Right.
Orchard is another one that pops up a lot. Um, DistroKid is the way to go, and they get you on any and every platform that's out there. So I mean,
Yeah.
they're the one to stick with.
And I think if you're gonna choose one for the price it costs you per year and the reach that they have and the ease of using the platform, DistroKid is hard to beat. Now there are music only platforms. There's Slaps. There is SoundCloud. Excuse me. There's BandLab. There's a couple of those. I use both Slaps and SoundCloud, although I've not been very active on my Slaps account in the last 6 months, and I've started to treat SoundCloud a little bit like just a parking place for my music. What I tend to do is when I have the final mix, I put it there, I park it, and then it idles while I use that mix to do the video. And I have mentioned that I do use Bandcamp, and Bandcamp is great. Big fan of Bandcamp.
Yeah,
There's
Bandcamp
easy to
is.
use, good distribution. Somebody buys your song, you have the money right away. It's all fantastic.
Yeah. BandLab, I hear a lot of good things, and I hear that there is actually a pretty cool community of people on BandLab, and that there are uh, basically people collabing and such.
Hmm.
So I've heard good things about BandLab. I just don't know a lot about it.
Well, I use BandLab. Their free tools. That's what I use to master with. I
Mhm.
get the mix done, and then I just run it through their Final Master, which does two things. As Jade will tell you, it pumps up the volume, so my YouTube videos are good and hard hitting. And there's no dynamics on them whatsoever. It compresses the shit out of them,
Right.
but they sound cool, and so I like it for that.
And hello, Misty. Speaking of
Good to see
marketing,
Misty. Yeah.
she is an amazing
Yeah, she could give a
at
master class
marketing.
on this.
Yeah, she's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, really is.
Oh, have you posted that, Misty? Because I will play that on my show Saturday.
Ah, there's that bonny lad, Hugh Caldwell from Scotland. Good to see ya.
I I did
He's
see a
great.
I did see a question here about why should I keep track of 12 different I think it's supposed to be platforms. Um, I think that it's not about that you have to keep track of all of them. I think it's more of finding where your people are and where specifically the audience that likes your music is, and trying to go there. So in other words, let's just say somebody, they've had success on YouTube, but they want to branch out. So they've never tried Twitch, they've never tried Rumble or TikTok, and then they go over to one, and they're like, "Yeah, this ain't for me." Then they go over to one, and who knows, maybe their audience is kind of like there and been waiting for them, and it's about trying and seeing what's there, and just like Chris was saying, putting yourself out there. Just I like to say it's experimenting and going outside the comfort zones, but it's just you never know where things will lead if you don't go that path. I mean, that's the bottom line, basically. And this is no matter what you're talking about, but you know, marketing and promoting in any field.
Yeah, exactly. And you throw it out there and you see what sticks. I think, and that's what like a distro kid, it's an aggregator. It sends it all these things, and then you can get data and go, hey, people
Mhm.
like me on Apple. Nobody listens to me on Spotify, or
Right?
I get all my listens on Spotify and nobody gives a shit about Pandora or whatever. It kind of
Right.
helps you, and then you can perhaps target your efforts a little bit more there. Um,
And one thing when you do DistroKid and maybe some of the others, there are, if you don't set it up properly, you'll end up with a topic page, and you can still merge those pages, your regular page that you control with the topic page. You just got to get in touch with them and then get it merged. Now, I spoke with Shannon Darcy because she did that, and it actually took a couple of weeks for them to make that happen. But then Polvault had said that they contacted him and said, hey, there's this topic page, and then there's this page of this guy, Polvault. Is this the same thing? And he said, yeah, and boom, they just put them together. And now he's actually like a verified artist because they have been merged.
See, there you go. Yeah, tech actually helping you out. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, see, Maria thinks good tip. This is really a good point, Wayne.
Right.
You know, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I go through things where I spend a lot of time on Facebook and then I don't, or I spend a lot of time on YouTube and then I don't. And then, I'm various places. I'm not consistent as to where I am consuming stuff. So it makes sense that for the artist to make sure that they're every logical place for them to be so that people, dummies stumbling around the internet can find you.
Well, and I think going back to what he's saying, though, and maybe because I took it a little bit differently, but I think being consistent as to who your brand is, not only necessarily the same content on all, but let's just say, because I do the same thing with Twitter. I'll be on Twitter for months. I'll disappear from Twitter, but then I'll be on X. I'll be on all these other different places. But when I come back to Twitter, my past Twitter self and my current Twitter self and my Instagram self and my Facebook self and my YouTube, it's all the same. It's the same brand. It's not act this way on this one, this way on this one. And it's the same thing with, going from chat to chat on YouTube. No matter where I am consistent. I'm the same person. I am me. I'm not, jackass in this group or this place and not in this one. I'm just the same person. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. If I showed up on TikTok bald, that would just confuse people, right? Go, who's this guy? Now, I probably won't ever go to TikTok full time because it's the formatting thing, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, I'm lower and wider, so it makes sense for 16:9. The tall, skinny one. That's not a good platform for me. You're like this in the screen is like, hey, how are you? Just saying.
I don't get TikTok either. I really don't. I'm like I will go on TikTok because there are artists that I do follow on there. There are filmmakers I follow on there. There are celebrities I follow on there, and just from time to time I'll go on there. I'll see what's going on, but for the most part, I'm a little confused as to what is going on. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that one, Princess. I go over there. I'll see something and I'll go and then I'll think, well, that vapid twit. There's 30 seconds of my life I'm never getting back. Damn it, they got me again. And then I stomp off, get off my lawn.
And this is why I don't like shorts. Me personally, I am not saying that that if shorts work for you, because they work for Clay, they work for Pole Vault, they work for Miss D, they work for lots of people. They're just not for me. I don't get them. I don't watch them. Pole Vault's like, did you see this short? And I'm like, I don't watch shorts. I have to go and watch his new short on Chad the Cat. I have to go seek it out. Not I've seen it because he posted it.
And most everybody that's doing it says it's a good promotional tool, and we haven't mentioned it yet, so let's take a few minutes. And I haven't done it. Just let's review Stupid and Lazy. I've got the video gear I could do, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But Dom has started to do them. And he's got some things. We know Clay's had success with him. Valerie's had some success. She did that show, about a month ago, where That was the challenge. You do X number of shorts and let us know. And most of the people reported that they had success. They grew their channel. I don't get it, but whether I get it or not is immaterial. You know, you're looking for eyeballs, and if you're looking to grow your sub base and your subscribers, it's a viable way to start to do that. And again, it doesn't have to be about music. Now, to me, to promote your song, that makes sense. I'm all about that. You know, to take a picture of your cat and then link it to your music channel. I don't get the synergy there, but you know, maybe my brain just doesn't work that way.
Well, and I think to that, I don't think.
So there you go. People
Again,
like cats.
That's Chad the cat, though. That's not any cat. That is Chad the cat. And Chad
Well,
the cat.
I mean,
is
you guys
the
have seen Newton the cat on the things. I got to get Newton. You know, lazy bastard. I just spent $400 at the vet for him. That he needs to start learning his kibble. Damn it.
And as far as that shorts with the music, that's something that on TikTok, again, that does go into like Billboard charts and things of that nature. Those little snippets of songs people use on TikTok, which I do believe that if you're using DistroKid, it's going to go, your music's going to go over to TikTok automatically. So if you are wanting to do shorts, you definitely should be doing them on TikTok and tagging your music in it.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that. Yeah, you are the only person, Epi. Everyone else is nuts about cat videos. I mean, that's how it. So there you go. Yeah, here. I mean, Felix is one of the more famous community internet cats. Yeah. Okay, yeah, here's Michael reporting success with shorts. So I'm glad we got to this because here is yet another way to do promotion. And let's review the theme of the show, promoting ourselves as artists. And everybody in the chat right now has basically reported they had success with it. So I think maybe I'll just, because I wear shorts pretty much year round, maybe I should just do shorts of me wearing shorts. Because, I don't know what else to do. Maybe I'll come up with something. That and the cat. So yeah, Ollie gets a lot of views. That's a cute cat, though.
The other thing, though, that I think is important to talk about as far as marketing, as far as promotion and social media, part of my philosophy goes back to, and this isn't just with that, it's basically life in general, goes back to Bruce Lee's philosophy of basically taking what is useful, adapting it, adding to it what is uniquely yours, and then whatever is not useful to you, disregarding it. And that's basically what he did with martial arts, and how he basically, was the grandfather of mixed martial arts, because he was the first person to say, look, I can take this piece here, I can take this piece here, and take this piece here, and I can put it together. It doesn't have to be just this box, this box, just this box. And I think this works with genres of music in general, and then it also works with what we're talking about as far as marketing, that just because something is working for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And just because something you're told this is how you have to do it, you don't have to do it. It is what works for you. Basically, always what is useful for you, use that. Add your unique self to it as well. And whatever isn't useful, get rid of it. So, I mean, I applaud the people that do shorts and have success with it, but I honestly don't think it's for me. And it can be the same thing for like TikTok. I don't think it's for me to create TikToks. Yeah. But people do have success with it. So you never know. And I have put one short on YouTube. I've since gotten rid of it, but and I've had two on TikTok that I've gotten rid of because it's just not, it doesn't work for me. So
yeah, Charlie posted something a minute ago, and I highlighted it for a minute. How about the concept of picking a artist and helping them? And I will relate a personal story. Some time ago, I wasn't quite to 200, and the Chandler brothers basically donated their spots on Hippie Show and some place else to play my stuff and basically help me get to 200. I'm eternally grateful that I mean they're super great guys, obviously, but they went out of their way to help a guy that they didn't really necessarily know other than us chatting back and forth on the various music shows. And so I think it's a fantastic idea. And if there's an artist that we see that is new and we like, basically that's what Chad and Clay do on their show. They'll find an artist, and sometimes they'll go, look, this artist has 30 subs. They just started YouTubing. Can we all get on and help them out? And so they pick an artist and try and help move them along. And I think that's a fantastic idea. And it's just a question of, what venue do you do it in, and what's the object there. And of course the artist kind of has to be on board. If all of a sudden they just get dumped on and they don't know what's going on, they're not prepared for it, I don't think that's fair to the artist.
Right. Yeah, no, I would say that basically that's kind of what I do. And I'll give you examples of that. Is last week I played this artist, Honora J. And Nora J is a really young artist. I'm not even sure how old she is, but she's very, very young. And her first single is not coming out until October 2nd, I do believe. But she joined the Facebook group, and I was looking at her website, and she's got an old song of her that she did like a year ago. And she's like, oh, it's not that good. Listen to it, and it's great. And I was like, hey, I'd love to play this on the show. I just do videos though, but here's what I can do. I can make a visualizer for it, play it on the show to basically kind of put you out there. And then when your single comes out, people already know who you are in this community. She was there in chat with her mom Saturday, and I played it. And of course, everybody liked it.
Yeah,
and she
nice.
got a nice introduction to the community. She really liked all of the, basically she was like, I'm just sitting here learning through this show. And it's just little things like that. I do that all the time. It's just like the thing I was talking about with Alice of seeing this artist and being like, hey, I'm gonna put you with them and y'all are gonna do a collab, that sort of thing. But again, yes, it's seeing these people and then just basically reaching out and saying, hey, I dig this. I mean, Wayne Hager is a good example. I mean, he probably had maybe 5 or 6 subs before he got into the community. I mean, there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that. And there have been artists that I've said, hey, I really want to play this on Friday. Can you start a YouTube channel and can you get this on there? And then they do it. And then, I'm the first sub, and then Clay's the second sub, and then, it's kind of definitely what me and Clay, though, we're doing those kind of things all the time. And not only that, the field trip where we, have people doing a world premiere, and we take our whole audience over to the world premiere. While
I love the field trip. I just got to say, I got to hats off to you and Clay for doing that. That I think shows tremendous respect for the artist. And I think it couldn't be a cooler thing for you guys to do. It's like, hey, we've got the show and everything, but time out. We're going to hang out. We'd like you to go here and send your audience there. And they all go, or 90% of them go. They all come back. It's just fantastic. I think you guys are just friggin' awesome. Hey, there she is, Ms. Mosh. We love.
Yes. Hello, Laurie.
Yes, Epiphonian hates everything. Well, his shorts are a little tight tonight, so give him a break, The dryer was a little hot, and
so
that happens.
And to go back though to what we were talking about as far as like the 4 E's, engagement. Now, what we do with the field trip is interactive, and that is part of that whole engagement thing. of
Yes.
making something out of nothing, essentially,
Exactly.
and making it more than what it actually is. And then from doing that a couple of times, people are now saying, "Oh, well, I'll world premiere my video." And then, of course, Lady Campion came to the rescue, writing a song, singing a song, and then we had artists add to it their own music, and just made it into something really cool. And again, that's that whole thing of engaging and making it fun and interactive. So
Yeah. Dom's healing is what Dom is doing. He's in bed like he should be, doing what his doctor told him to do, which is knock it the hell off. Well, indeed. What it seemed like we had one more thing that we wanted to talk about as far as promotion, and it's getting later here, and I'm drawing a blank on. We hit the shorts, we hit the videos, merch. Let's go back to the
I wanna
40s. Go ahead.
let me bring up something here that this is again coming from uh, where I come from, which I did a film festival back in
Mm-hmm.
2010 to 2014. Um, One of the things that I did was a music video category, and lots of festivals do. And there are not a lot of entries that they get for music videos. Now, David Rosen, he is an artist that also kind of comes from the film side of things, because he does a lot of music composing for films. But he does videos, and then he submits to film festivals, and he has won all kinds of film festivals with his videos. That is an outlet that people should really think about exploring. Film there are good film festivals, there are crappy film festivals. You want to look at how much does it cost and what are you getting out of it. But David has had his videos play all over the place, and he's been to those festivals, and that's a whole new like level of networking and getting your stuff out there, because there are people seeing it that wouldn't necessarily see it, and now those people are following him on YouTube. It's just this whole like circle. It's just one of those things that people should not sleep on.
Well, I think that's fantastic, and that's something that maybe on Ham you start providing a little bit of that. See, that's a world that I have no idea. I know it exists, it's a thing, but I
Right.
don't know anybody. I don't go there. I don't know a website. I got nothing.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you never know. All right, I'm just going through the chat. Let's see. Yeah, Princess is leaving us. Good night, Princess. Do
Yes.
well.
Good night.
Study hard and graduate with honors. Or graduate honorably or something. Just graduate. In 2 years, nobody will give a damn what your grade's worth, just that you have a degree.
Right.
Just saying. Yeah. Indeed. Well, let's recap the show, if you wouldn't mind, for some of the people that showed up a little later. Let's recap those 3 E's again, and just a brief things for people to so that they can use those to maybe rethink their promotion strategies.
So it's four E's.
Oh, did I say 3? Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote them down, but hey,
So again, like
you're getting a bonus E.
any any sort of marketing or promotion, social media, you want to try to hit on as many E's as you can. The more E's you hit on, the more likely it's going to connect. And those E's, engage, which we were just talking about. That's a any sort of storytelling that you're doing. And again, all of this just goes back to storytelling. That's what marketing is. That is what promotion is. It's storytelling. Engage. Empower, which empower is basically how can the audience that you are telling whatever it is you're telling them, how can they also do what you're doing, or how can they take this information and make it their own. Entertain, of course, that's the easy one. That's the one that, that should be a given, but it's not necessarily always a given. That's the thing, is that you do want, whatever it is you're doing to have some sort of entertaining quality to it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to stop you there because you're right. I've been on streams and I've been on things where the artist didn't seem to grasp that simple concept. They wanted to talk about their personal life or just whatever. And it's like, no, bro, you don't get it. We're here to entertain. That's our job now. We're not getting paid for it. We're doing it for fun. But we're on this program. People are spending their time watching us. Our job is to be entertaining to the best of our ability. And I think sometimes we forget that, and we should never forget that.
Right. Yeah. And then the last one was educate. So with that that could be as basic as just providing information. You're sharing information or sharing knowledge that maybe they don't have. But again, it's educate, entertain, empower, engage. And it's one of those things that you don't want to force these things, and you don't want to have it in your mind that I've got to hit this. It just comes natural after a while of promoting and marketing. I do things all the time, and then I'm like, oh, well, until I stop and think about it, oh, that's why this, that's why that, because it's just second nature. So, and also what I had said was we want to promote without promoting, and we want to market without marketing. So again, this goes back to what like the Grateful Dead and the book that I brought up. It's not necessarily always about you. It's about who you're reaching. And that's the important part, is that how can you make it fun for them? How can you make it something that they can learn from? How do you make it an experience for them? It's not, here's my music, I'm great, listen to it. Here's my music, I suck, listen to it. That's the worst marketing, and there's so much of that. And there are some people that are really, really, really bad, and that about marketing themselves, and that is essentially what they do. And they just do it over and over and over, and then they don't ever try anything different as far as their approach to getting their music heard and building any sort of audience.
Now, I think that is great wisdom. And there's great wisdom in the chat. Education is important. Music is more importanter. See, I know your Canadian system is not as good with that. Music is more importanter. Get the syntax right.
So, and again, though, education, don't think of education as math and books. Again, bring it down to the simple. What is education? Education is providing information that person didn't already have. So again, if you're doing the same thing and providing the same information over and over and over, like you'll see these bad people on Twitter that it's like they post the same thing every day. And it's like,
we call them bots.
And there are people though that actually do this too.
Now they're still bots, even if they're human. And as artists, let's don't do that. Let's grow. And let's don't overthink it. Education could be as simple as, I have a lyric, I have a perspective, I sing a lyric to you. I've educated you on either my point of view or maybe a different way of looking at things. I've provided information for you to do with what you will. And education could be as simple as that.
Right. And an engagement can be as simple as, hey, I'm thinking of doing a cover song. Should I do a cover of Michael Jackson's "Beat It," or should I do a cover of Britney Spears' "Hit Me One More Time," or should I do a Beatles song? And you put a poll out there on your YouTube channel or your Facebook page. I mean, that's engagement. Asking for help or feedback in regards to something. That's engagement.
Absolutely. And I should have
And
done a poll tonight, and then I forgot how to do it because I cut right before the show. It's like, oh yeah, let's do a poll tonight. Ah, crap. How do I do that again?
and Maria hit on something though. I think that was also important: to build and respect your community, and they will
Yes.
build you up respectfully. That's the other thing. As far as um, your brand and your um, storytelling, and also being consistent. If you are a good person and you're consistently a good person, one, people are going to like you on social media, and they're going to respect you. Um, Before I posted a single video or did a live stream, I had all kinds of subs. I got those subs from just being in chats and talking with people and communicating with people and networking with people and talking to people on Facebook that were musicians. And my subs went up without having any content. And then I was like, you know what? I got to dig up some of my old um, shorts and short films, not shorts, but and music videos and such that I've edited and put them on my channel. And so I put content on there because I had subs already. And that's part of that whole thing of not forcing things, but if you do it, it's going to build itself. And if you're not worrying about, oh, I've got this many likes, I've got this many subs, how do I get more? Don't think about that. Think of, here's what I am, here's where I am as an artist, here's what I've done, what have I not done, how can I, move forward, what can I try, how can I push myself a little bit. So
Now, here's an interesting comment from Lady Campion. It's thank you for being here tonight. You're such a lovely person. Um, it encourages my indecisive tendencies, and that's funny because see, I could take a poll, and it doesn't matter what the poll says. I mean, I'm seeking information and everything, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Just so you know. I mean, that's just me. I'm just being honest about that. Polls are fun, and again, it's engagement and everything. But I would probably never take a poll about, hey, should I repeat the chorus here? Should I? Man, that decision's made. Just telling you. Uh,
to add to that though, okay, and that's totally fine, because look at Dom. How
yeah,
many episodes have he done of the You Pick I Play?
yeah,
And basically there will be people say, hey, I request this, and he's like, I don't want to play that, I'm going to play this. So
yeah.
again, though, it's still engagement.
Exactly, and yeah, there's engagement comes in many forms. You could engage your audience by going, yeah, I'm never going to do that. Sorry, but you engaged them, and it's I make jokes and everything. Certainly, polls have their usefulness. SWA as a songwriting group is all about not polls per se, but engagement and working with one another. And there we are open minded. Like, here's what I've done. What do you guys think about this part? Could this part be improved? And that's the basis of the entire group, is we work in that way. That's dangerous to do in the big wide world, but in small groups like that, where everybody understands the rules and the parameters, it can be great. And everybody's song is always just that much better because of the collective wisdom of the group. So there you go. Is somebody hitting on Miss D? I mean, I can understand it, but no, Miss D is happily married, so knock it off. Let's see. So there you go. See? Polls, they can have their value, right? An old live show of yours, yes, I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and I'm glad you made the decision to post it. Sometimes that it can be a thing that helps us push past our comfort zone. All of us, even those who pretend to have tremendous egos, have apprehension about putting ourselves out there. And sometimes it's good to get a push from our community to go, no, go for it. Try it. It'll be good. And, usually we're rewarded when we do so. So I think that's fantastic, Lady Campion.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And that's the thing is that I like to do polls. And honestly, it does help with kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone. And at the same time, I like to make the poll, itself fun and entertaining, or at least amusing, so that even if somebody doesn't even want to vote in the poll, maybe they get a chuckle out of the poll, and that itself is engaging. Last week, before I was on the karaoke show, I posted a poll. I got 28 people that responded too. This was the day before, on Thursday. I posted it. Should I sing on karaoke party show Friday?
Yes.
Nope, never. 7%. Yes, 64%. No peer pressure, only if you want. 18%. And Chad, fuck off unless it's G.G. Allen or Britney Spears. 11%. So again, though, something as stupid and as silly as that's a good example, though, of engagement. It's a good example of also, being entertaining and not just being when I say poll, I'm not just meaning like, a bland, poll of yes, no. So
yeah.
Always do what you can to have fun with it. That's
for sure. And again, the payoff. We got to hear Chad sing a couple songs. And you know what? The show was not canceled. Dogs did not leap out of buildings, to their deaths. It was great. He pushed himself, got out of his comfort zone, got rewarded, I think. So, big fan.
And if they do make you want to say mean things to me, then they're working. So
yeah, that's again, Chad is
a
one
reaction,
of those kind of guys.
A reaction from a poll. Again, a poll. They're, they could be really, really boring and dull, and maybe that, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not me. And again, you go back to what I was saying about Bruce Lee. I'm gonna take what's useful to me. I'm gonna get rid of what's not, and I'm gonna add, a little bit of myself. So
yeah, have fun with it. I guess that's one thing. Certainly, this applies on the panels. You can't take yourself too seriously. I mean, I don't, and I hope everybody gets that. I'm having fun with this stuff. The Sunday night show is just fun, and you should have fun with this stuff. Right. Have fun at the end of the day creating music. Have fun sharing your music, and have fun. You might make a couple bucks. You might get some praise. You might all good things. And if nobody ever heard your stuff and nobody paid any attention to it, you did something, and you have an accomplishment and something you could look at and go, hey, I did that. That's cool. And then if everybody else likes it, what a huge bonus. How nice, right?
Right. For sure.
All right. There you go. You're welcome. I think probably it's a good time to head out. I think we've mined this topic to its fullest. I want to thank everybody that's been in the chat. We've been going for 2.5 hours, and I think we've covered some promotion from A to B. Hopefully we gave you some things to work with, folks. Certainly I got some things from Chad that I'm going to work with, starting with relearning how to do a damn poll so I can do it on the show next week. Because there's nothing worse than learning how to do something and then forgetting because you didn't do it. So I'm going to learn and practice this week. Next week, we're going to have a poll of some kind, and I'm going to run it, and it'll be great. And we'll engage the audience with a poll.
Well, and I very much do appreciate everybody that has hung out and chat. And this has been a fun topic. I could go on and on and on and go into detail. I didn't even bring up the Blair Witch Project. Well, I think I did bring it up, but I didn't
Briefly.
go into detail.
Yeah.
The Blair Witch Project is another one of those things that you can completely break down and learn from. I actually did a long essay on that back in the day. It's like marketing as a super fun world for somebody like me. I guess I'm kind of a nerd in regards to marketing, but whether it be marketing, promotion, PR, or whatever you're talking about. But at the end of the day, storytelling is the key, and communication. Those are the big things, and I think that's something that's really starting to happen more and more. At least I'm trying to push that in the community with all of us. Talking with each other about things and having thought-provoking discussions, even if they are really silly. I mean, like the Sunday shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're silly, but dadgummit, are those things fun? Right? I have a
For sure.
I have a big fun on those kind of shows.
Yeah.
When I'm able to come.
And Sunday is about whistling after dark. So
Yeah, promote Sunday's
one-
show, because I haven't heard what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So, okay. About a week ago, I was whistling and it was night, and my girlfriend said, "Hey, don't do that." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "You're not supposed to whistle at night because it attracts demons." I'd never heard that in my whole life.
I've never heard that.
Never heard that. So the next day I Googled it, and sure enough, it's like all kinds of information on it. There's all sorts of there's just a huge rabbit hole there of whistling at night. There are some that think it's bad if you do it indoors. There are some that think it's bad if you do it outdoors. It attracts ghosts. It attracts demons. It attracts negative energy. There's just so much there. So that's going to be a fun discussion we're going to look at. And so that's going to be a good one. And Povalt actually decided to do a song with himself whistling, like a day or two after we talked about that. He recorded a song whistling at night, and I'm interested to talk to him if he had anything weird happen to him after he did that.
Well, yeah, we're fitting to find out, as they say. So, because Dom's not here, I think it appropriate that we end the show with one of his songs. So I am going to share a screen here, and let's get this up. Head to the stage, and I'll make it big, and we'll go out with one of Dom's songs, Good Intentions. And I just hit the wrong button, because I do that. And I just hit the wrong button again. I have too many tabs open because it's what I do. All right. Folks, thank you very much for being here tonight. We appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
Late at night, when the world is sleeping, I feel so tired, but the wheel just keeps turning. All I have and all I have took for granted. In the end, the remains of my good intention. I'm so tired of everyone saying it. I'm so tired of the games I who I could have been. I won't pretend that they're both the same when my story ends. All I had and all that I've let go. In the end, the remains of my good intention